You're listening to Your Highest Self podcast, episode 44. Today, we're talking about healing your diet mentality. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your mind and doing it with me today. In case you are new, my name is Shanae. I'm a former WBFF bikini pro and fitness and nutrition expert turned master life coach. My vision, my mission, my purpose for this show is to help you step into your highest self. And we do that through healing and self-growth. I'm excited to bring you this week's episode because I've been talking to you guys on Instagram about it and going back to healing our diet mentality. I talk a lot about, the growth mindset of starting your own business or becoming more confident. But if you didn't know my story, I could only come to this place of like confidence and building business and really chasing your purpose, like when I healed my diet mentality, when I let go of needing the perfect body image or looking a certain way in order to feel confident or appreciated or credible, or like I could like really help people, right? Like an expert. And that's just simply not true. So what inspired me to do this show was somebody had reached out to me and she was basically kind of telling me how she was listening to the podcast and she really resonated with it and she really wants to let go of tracking macros and she, wants to, and she does have self-love and compassion and she's done so much healing, but she still can't let go of the macros. She still can't let go of that kind of hold because she believes that tracking macros is what's really helping her maintain her body. And she's got, a big goal in the future. She's getting married and she really wants to look amazing on that day. And I totally get that. And I hear this from my own clients. A lot of my clients have this irrational fear that, once you stop tracking, once you let go of the macros, that you're just going to lose all this control and gain weight. And this is what I coach and teach and help women heal with inside Mindset Makeover, which you guys now know is a membership. So if you've been wanting to do all of that as well, you should come and join us. But in any case, I wanted to create this episode so that we can just dive deeper into it, like how you can heal, how we can grow. So today we're going to be talking about the 5-step process to healing your relationship with food and yourself, the art of healing, how self-compassion will get you farther than negative self-discipline, so important, and then why mindset is always the answer. Before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to send you guys my love. How are you doing during quarantine? I'm in California. It's been extended another month for us, and my heart goes out to any of you who are being negatively affected by this. If you've lost friends or family, if you're experiencing grief, just wanted to send you my love and acknowledge you. I also wanted to quickly touch on something that I noticed in myself a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to talk to you guys about it, but it's kind of like quarantine shaming. We have these posts where we see people talk about like, be productive and build a business and find new hobbies and read 10 million books. And then we have these posts where people are like, rest, self-care. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. And I'm in both camps, and being in both camps has been a healing process for me because, as you guys know, I had such an all or nothing mentality, and you might be the same. So you might see some of these posts and be like, oh, I'm not being productive. Am I wrong? Or all I want to do is rest. Am I wrong? And I want you to know that there is no right and there is no wrong. There is just your way, however you are feeling. And you can be either in both camps or you can be in either camp. So if you have been like really busting your butt and you've been productive and you're doing all these things, don't feel ashamed about not resting. And if you have been just completely resting, don't feel ashamed about not being productive. I just wanted to point that out there because I think a couple of years ago, I would have just looked at those and been like, oh shit, like I'm not doing things right. I'm in both camps. So it'd be kind of actually cool to hear from you. Which camp are you in? Are you in the complete rest or complete productivity, or are you like me and you're kind of in both? Honestly, I think being in both is what we I think being in both is what might serve our highest selves, because self-care is important and working hard is also important. But again, there is no wrong or right way. There's just your way. I completely understand that there are some people who have, lost their jobs, and maybe you're dealing with grief. And if you're in that space, there is no space at all for productivity for you. So that's what I mean. There's no right or wrong. There's just your way. Currently, I'm in a space where I'm in both. I can hold space for productivity, and my building my business has really expanded and grown and boomed in these last 2 months. I'm also holding space for my self-care and my rest, and I'm listening to my body, especially listening to my cycle and working with my cycle, not against it. So anyhow, just wanted to bring that up. Let's get into today's episode, diet mentality. I want to first start off by telling you some truths. The truth is you cannot heal emotional eating with more restriction. You cannot learn to trust yourself without giving yourself the opportunity to. You will not let yourself try if you punish yourself each time you fail. And your mindset is more effective than a diet will ever be. So I'm talking to you specifically, who wants to do intuitive eating, who wants to let go of the hold that dieting and body image has on you. I'm talking to you specifically. So if you're like, this doesn't resonate with me, I've healed, great. But I'm talking to you specifically, you know who you are. And I want you to know that if you are ready to heal, if you are ready to really have this be sustainable and get off that diet train of being on track and off track, or getting off the diet train of continually tracking your macros, then what's needed is a radical shift in how you approach health and fitness. Because it's no longer about wanting to be the leanest girl in the room. It's no longer about wanting to change your body for any goal or with any extreme measures. And it's about learning to love and accept yourself with any of the circumstances. And honestly, truthfully, our bodies are always changing. Just like there are seasons in life, there are, ebbs and flows of the ocean. Our bodies are the same exact way. Some months we gain weight, some months we lose weight. It's just how it is. And there's no right and there's no wrong, like I was saying before. The irrational fear, I think, comes in because every time you have tried to let go of macros or to get off the diet train, you have lost control. So I don't want to bypass your struggle. I get it. I've been there, and you have lost control. And I feel it. And I know that feeling sucks because you berate yourself. Maybe you quit for a couple months and you gain all this weight and you have to try and do it all over again. And you did do it all over again. And now you're at this point where you're like, I've worked so hard. I don't want to let this go. But have you seen that image, that graphic of this rope around this person's hand? And the image is you're gripping onto this rope so tight that it's hurting the hand. And if you were to just let go, then that rope would not hurt your hand anymore. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's how I see diet mentality. You're gripping and holding on to this ambiguous thing. What are you holding on to? How you look, other people's perceptions of you. What are you actually trying to hold on to? What is this big freaking weight that's holding you down? And if you were to, and it's hurting you so badly, and if you were to literally just loosen up your reins, let go, it will stop hurting you. You will no longer be weighed down by this invisible thing that's not even true. So let's talk about that real quick. What are you scared of? What are the fears? Take out your journal and just let yourself free flow and write this down. What are you scared of? Are you scared of what people are going to think about you? What are you scared of that's going to happen when you gain weight, when you lose control? Other people's thoughts about me, my clothes won't fit, I won't be a credible coach, people will think I let myself go, people will think I gave up. I bet you a lot of the things you write down is other people's opinions of you. And then I want you to ask yourself, what's more important to me? What other people think of me or what I think of me? And I bet what's more important is what you think of yourself, right? I hope so, at least. Because if you live your life being controlled by other people's perceptions, you are going to be very unhappy. So I don't know about you, but my mind changes every 2 minutes. I'm so up and down with my thoughts. So hypothetically, if I even had a thought about you, which I'm not thinking about you because I'm thinking about myself, but hypothetically, say I had a thought about you. 2 minutes later, I probably changed my mind. So now you're holding on to this invisible thought about what someone thinks about you, what they might think about you. They haven't even said anything yet, or they may have never said anything to you. You're holding on, you're gripping, and you're so miserable in your life because of this fear when it's not even there. It's like this invisible fear. Is this making sense? When you start to write down what you're afraid of, you let that shit go. Those stories no longer have a hold on you. And this is what we call reprogramming your brain and your body image around yourself and food. So real quickly, let me tell you the 5-step process to healing. It's reprogramming your brain and your body image, eat like you love yourself, self-love and self-compassion, emotional wellness, and training. Training, what I mean is how you train. I advocate heavy strength training, DEP programming for those of you who are going through this healing process. It's really going to help you reset your hormones, get you to not be driving your body into the ground with excessive cardio or excessive volume, and really just focusing on getting stronger and like what your body can do versus what it looks like. So amongst those 5 steps, I want to talk about 2 today. I want to talk about reprogramming your brain around your body image and food, and I want to talk about self-compassion. We're going to talk about self-compassion first. When you are on this path to healing, when you are on the path to self-growth, the driving force and the factor like has to first come from self-acceptance. Because if you are not accepting where you're at right now, then you're fighting with reality. And when you fight with reality, you keep yourself stuck in your negative mindset and you're going to stay suffering. It's suffering put on by yourself. Part of the deal, if you will, of like healing your diet mentality is understanding that you're never going to be perfect again. Like literally never. There are going to be some days you overeat, some days you undereat. Your metabolism is shifting on a week-to-week basis as a woman. Like, do you ever have those times where you're like, I could literally eat a horse and you want to eat so much? And then there are days that you're like, oh, I'm actually not that hungry. And you have to force feed yourself to meet your macros, right? That's breaking trust with your body right there. So of course you have a hard time trusting yourself. You don't eat when you're hungry and you overeat when you're not. So part of this deal, if you will, like I said, is just being okay with never eating perfect again. And when that happens, when you do overeat or you do undereat, it's not a big deal. You don't make yourself guilty. You don't shame yourself. You're not wrong for it. It just is not even a thing. And you can pick yourself back up and you start over again at the next meal, or you start over again the next day. Like there's never any shame or guilt or making yourself feel bad. Life is so much easier. Trust me. Like, I promise when you get to the other side, it's so much easier. But in order to get there, you have to squash these fears. Squashing these fears, again, starts with self-acceptance and self-love and self-compassion. You got to be compassionate with yourself. Punishing yourself, berating yourself, saying mean things to yourself is only going to make you a wounded, berated human. That's it. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you better. And it doesn't make you more motivated. It actually just hurts yourself more. Would you say those things to your friend? No. Why are you saying them to yourself? When you instead come from self-compassion and you're like, you know what, Shanae, you had a really tough day and your emotions got the best of you and you had that second, third glass of wine and now you don't feel great. That's okay. My dog barking in the background is ruining the mood of this podcast. Anyhow, you love yourself, you are compassionate with yourself, and when you have that compassion, you're able to move with positive momentum and it becomes so much more sustainable. Whenever I coach my clients, a lot of them are like, A lot of them have been punished by their coaches in the past, which I think is another fear that comes up when you're like, I want to stop tracking my macros, but I can't, or I don't know how. When you have binged in the past, or when you've lost control and you checked in with your coach and they made you feel badly about it, that's also where sometimes your irrational fear can come from. So a lot of times my clients will have binged and they didn't want to tell me, but they did. And all I did was meet them with compassion and love. And like, no, nothing you did wrong. No, nothing, oh, why did you do that or what led to it? It's just pure love where I understand it's totally okay. This is how we're going to move forward. And when you can meet yourself with, and they're always shocked when it first happens, they're like, oh man, I was so scared to tell you because I didn't want you to be mad at me. No, it's never about getting mad at your clients. It's never about getting mad at yourself. You're just a human. And this all happens to us. And when you're healing your diet mentality, like you are going to overeat some days, you are going to binge some days. But the more that you meet yourself with compassion and love, the more you start to trust yourself that you will never be mean to yourself again. It sometimes feels counterintuitive to meet binge eating and, slipping back on your goals with love, but I promise you every single time it will work. Okay. Now let's talk about the art of healing. So when you are reprogramming your brain, part of healing is about changing your mindset about things. So when I talk about mindset, all I really mean is like how you perceive a situation. Do you have a negative mindset or a positive mindset? If you were to binge eat and overeat and lose control, binge eating is not positive or negative. It's a neutral circumstance. It's your thought about what happened that makes it either negative or positive. So when we can have a positive mindset, when our baseline frequency is abundant, then we will most likely have an easier time seeing all situations in a positive light. I'm not going to lie, there are many times that a negative mindset will pop up and I have to catch myself and coach myself on the spot. But for the most part, I run on a very positive frequency and I reprogram myself through daily journaling, meditation, coaching, and chasing my purpose instead of a body fat percentage, which I'm so passionate about. I'm so passionate about helping you ladies and you women find what your purpose is, find what your passion is, so you can start putting your energy into that versus putting your energy into like trying to stay lean, right? Okay, so how do we heal? I have another acronym for you because I love acronyms. It's called the Art of Healing, ART. So first we acknowledge what happened. We acknowledge the story, and then we reframe, and then we tell a new story. So let me give you an example. Say you binged, you overate, you are letting yourself stop tracking your macros and you're really like clean slate, you're doing this, and first day you ate like 10 cookies. One is we acknowledge what happened. You ate 10 cookies. And then we reframe the story by using the thought model. Your unconscious thought model would probably be something like, I ate 10 cookies was the circumstance. The thought was, I failed, I did it again. Your feeling is probably like inferior or insecure or like unworthy. And then your actions from there would be like how you speak to yourself or what you decided to do. Maybe you punish yourself with exercise or restriction or whatever. It doesn't matter what your unconscious one is, because now we're going to tell a new story. We're going to write a new thought model. We're going to take that same circumstance and we're going to put a positive or neutral light on it, because not everything has to be positive. We're not about fake positivity here. So circumstances are the same. I ate 10 cookies. The new thought model is, I'm just a human. The next meal is an opportunity to do better. The next meal is an opportunity to be mindful. How does that make you feel? Instantly, I feel so much better. I feel peace. I feel calm. I feel like I didn't do something wrong, which I think is the main factor here. Your mindset is going to determine whether you think you did something wrong or you did something right. And like I said, our thoughts about the circumstance is what creates our experience, not the actual circumstance itself. So when I have that new thought, the new story of I'm just a human and my next meal is an opportunity to be more mindful, or I'm just a human, like we can even just keep it there. And your feeling is compassion. What is your action after that? It's probably not restricting yourself more or punishing yourself with cardio or forcing yourself to get back on macros or quitting altogether and saying that fuck it, like you're not good at this and you just don't want to do it anymore. It's all the opposite of that. You pick yourself back up. You are kind and loving to yourself. You don't exercise to burn off the calories. And you also don't go down the fuck it train of eating whatever the hell you want for the rest of the day, because that doesn't feel good either. Right? You choose a better option at the next meal, or you're more mindful, or you're just more compassionate and loving. And you most likely 99% won't binge eat. I always use 99% because I'm not a guru here. I can't, guarantee that what you're going to do. You can only guarantee what you're going to do. But what I can guarantee is that your thoughts will trigger your feelings. Your feelings will trigger your actions, and your actions will trigger your results. So if you pick a thought that you believe is so important, that's why we don't do fake positivity here, because if you don't believe the thought, then it's not going to work. But when you do the work and you do these thought models and you reprogram your brain and you live and you breathe and you take actions from self-compassion, you will heal. You will love yourself unconditionally, and more than likely, you will not lose control and gain all this weight because you are using your mindset. That's what I mean by like your mindset is so much more important than any diet plan, because if you had like freaking macros and you ate 10 cookies and you like could not meet your fats for the rest of the day, so you decided not to eat or you decided to say fuck it, that's probably going to happen over and over again. But when you have this rock solid mindset of where you meet yourself with compassion, like the longevity of that is so much more sustainable, and it just feels better. Like it doesn't feel good to be mad at yourself all the time. It doesn't feel good to be tied to your phone or to your app and to always just be like in this headspace of worried about what you're going to eat or how you're going to eat or what you ate. Got it? Okay. My last sort of words on this is that healing can only come from a place of self-compassion. Negative self-discipline and forcing yourself to fix or change yourself comes from fear-based mindset and scarcity thinking. So you can only, and when we heal, what we're doing is we're making ourselves whole again. That's what healing is. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email or DM. Reset, like my 5-step process, is actually a digital program. It's a 4-week course if you want to go through it. And it comes with a training program that's all DUP and strength-based, so you can focus on what your body does and how strong you can get versus what your body looks like. That's available. It's already done. There's no coaching from me. You're not actually going to be speaking to me, but there's videos of coaching that I personally walk you through. So I just want to make it really clear. It's a digital course. It's a do-it-yourself program, not one-on-one coaching with me. If you desire one-on-one coaching with me, you can either join Mindset Makeover membership or you can apply for life coaching. Okay. I hope this was helpful. I'm sending you guys so much love. If you are in full rest mode or full work mode or both, nothing is wrong. The only way is your way. Love you guys so much. Don't forget to be your highest self. Bye for now.